my name is Sybil.
And this is Dad. And today, Sybil and I are looking at a spooky tale because it's spooky month at time of recording. And we're going to be covering a short story by Edgar Allen Poe, a famed writer of the spooks.
Yeah, I've actually never heard of him, but
He did some famous ones. He did The Telltale Heart. He did a poem about a raven. But yeah, quite like an American Gothic writer. We might do some more of this stuff.
I like writing gore.
Yeah, not gory, probably wordier than gore.
Okay. Today's tale is called Berenice. And during this research for this episode, the thing that drew Dad to it was the fact that it was described as a horror tale about teeth. And some teeth are creepy.
Teeth can be creepy.
And just to mention, Teen Titans, Tooth Fairy.
Yeah,
Check it out.
The Tooth Fairy from Teen Titans. We'll drop an image
Yeah,
here.
and also I've done some spooky pictures. I've drawn 2 of them.
So here's our teeth-themed image, and then Sybil was asked to draw. Asked to draw something that she fears, and the 11-year-old in the room did this picture.
I don't fear it.
I know. I think that's fair. I do fear it.
You fear it.
That's absolutely fair. So it starts with the happiest of tones. This short story, with the line "Misery is manifold." The person whose misery is manifold here is a J.S. We think it's probably pronounced a J.S. He spends some time telling us how he's pretty sad, and he comes from a very famous and rich family. He spends quite a lot of time bigging up his family. I think he says, there are no towers in the land more time-honoured than my gloomy, grey, hereditary halls. Our line has been called a race of visionaries, and in many striking particulars in the character of the family mansion.
Stop moaning. You can get anything you want.
Yeah, he's pretty whingy.
So we find out that J.S. is a bookworm, like me. And he tells us that he spent most of his time in the library. I don't. I spend it.
No, but he's got a library. He's got a library in his house.
Okay.
I know, right?
I technically have a library upstairs, but
a little mini library.
Who's counting? He talks about the volumes there, but then tells us that he won't do this for the rest of the story for no real reason. He promises that he won't talk about books.
I think maybe he's worried he's going to bore us. But news alert, he's going to bore us anyway. The Berenice from the title...
It didn't bore me, the last bit.
Oh no, the last bit's very interesting. Yeah. Everything up to this point is a little bit... we'll get into it. It's a bit through. So Berenice from the title is our narrator's cousin, who seems to be the opposite of him in every way. While he is very whingy and sort of sad and forlorn, she, at the beginning at least, is full of life and she's very carefree. But then there's mystery and terror, and she gets ill, an illness which pervades her mind, thoughts and manners. There seems to be a lot of aspects to it, but J.S. does mention that she has a type of epilepsy, which means that she regularly goes into like a trance-like state, so like a vacant seizure, you'd probably call that.
Yeah. While she's getting worse, J.S. seems to have lots of energy coming out as a monomania, which is the obsession with one particular thing, ranging from a scribble in a margin of a book all the way through to a shadow falling on a tapestry in the hallway. So in between J.S. and his hyperfocus, Berenice gets worse and worse, and he describes being distressed by her swift decline.
Yeah, just like a little brief sort of step away from the story. In real life, I'm a teacher, and one of the things that I always maintain is very powerful as a teacher is to be able to say, hey, I don't know that thing, or hey, I don't understand that, but I'm going to go away and do it. I'm going to go away and do some research. When I read this story, I felt very much like that. I felt like, I don't get this. So I think there's a lot of maybe some people that know this story better will be screaming at their iPods at the moment and going, hey, you don't understand. And you are right, I don't understand. But I think that when he's having these monomaniacal episodes that he's kind of blacking out, and he doesn't really, he gets so fixated on one thing that he sort of detaches from reality and doesn't really know what he's doing. There's a lot of words happening around here, lots of words, which is kind of Poe doing a bit of showy-offy writing, or he had a really good idea for a very, very short story and thought, I need to bulk this out at the beginning. But if I had to sum up all of the words in this section, Aegeus is a bit of a Debbie Downer, and Berenice is pretty poorly. However, something finally happens one afternoon.
Yeah. So Aegeus is troubled by how Berenice's edges... what? Edges? Huh?
So like the edges of her silhouette in the door frame.
Oh. Appear to be vacillating and shimmering. So, what?
So I think
so what's happening?
She looks kind of ghostly to him. So she doesn't, almost seems like she doesn't have a proper form.
Oh. Her eyes seem to be glassy and also and almost pupilless. But the worst thing is the teeth revealed by her very thin lips. He says, would to God that I had never beheld them, or that, having done so, I died.
We're going to get into it, he really gets obsessed with these teeth. These teeth are...
Is it like vampire?
Well, we don't really... It's just that they are kind of... They shine with their own light, almost ghostly.
Okay.
So they're startled by a door shutting, and then when Aegeus looks back, Berenice has disappeared. Spooky. She's disappeared. Aegeus' monomania ends up being hyper-focused on Berenice's teeth. He keeps seeing her teeth, everywhere. They, appear as visions in front of them, these shining, pearly white teeth. A servant comes in and says that Berenice has died during one of her epileptic fits. He is still haunted by the vision of her teeth, however, and he's really obsessed. They keep appearing to him. They're shining like ghosts. Once again, we get the suggestion that when he's fixated on something, he blacks out and he's not sure what he's doing.
Yes, he's sitting up in the library and he notices a little box that belongs to the family doctor next to him, which he thinks is odd, but then gets distracted. He gets fixated on a sentence. It's quite hard to read.
Yeah, Sybil's going to bash out some Latin here.
Dicebant mihi sodales si sepulchrum amicae visiterum curas maias aliquantulum fore levatas.
Round of applause there.
Yay. Dad had to go search us up. Poe keeps dropping sentences in French and Latin and assumes he has a clever audience.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you're clever.
Well, I'm clearly not Edgar Allen Poe levels of clever, which is fine. He's like 150 IQ or something. Yeah, I'm not there. So what does that translate as?
So my companion said to me, if I would visit the grave of my friend, I might somewhat alleviate my worries.
And so he fixates on this sentence and he kind of blacks out. And when he comes to, he kind of snaps back in. He's like, oh, okay. So basically, if he goes and sees Berenice's grave, the suggestion is that it's all going to be good. But as he's having this thought, a servant comes in, covered in clot and gore, and tells Aegeus of a wild cry in the night and the finding of an enshrouded corpse that was gestating as if still alive.
Did she really need to tell him that?
Clearly.
I would not want to know that.
The servant points out that there's a spade by the wall, at which point Aegeus shrieks, because I think he's come to the realisation that he might have done something in one of his monomaniacal states. He runs back to the little box, now realising what it might be. He can't open it, but then it tumbles to the floor and smashes, revealing a set of pearly white teeth. So, thoughts, theories. That's the end of the story, by the way, as much as it is a story.
Yeah, so do you think he saw the teeth? Because I think...
Yeah, I mean, the servant does say that she died during a seizure, but I reckon he also might have killed her. but I've got no evidence to support that.
Were they like friends or something?
They were cousins.
So were they friends?
Well, I think so. I think they lived together.
So, yeah. So we don't know what he's been doing.
No, we just know that he's been blacking out. At the very least, I think he's dug her up and stolen her pearly white teeth because he got obsessed with them. Also, she might not be dead. Basically, in this story, I would say 80% of it is JS being quite sad and getting poorly, and then Berenice getting poor. I would say he's also not a very well man, just in terms of like his like fixating episodes. There's 80% of that, and then at the very
20% of
20%
the best story ever written.
20% of there's teeth in a box, and I dug up my cousin. So I would say a good ending, but I was very meh with it, and it was one of those. It made me feel a little bit stupid. It was a bit like if we think back to the Jurassic Park episodes when I was trying to read the scientific stuff and swords coming up against a brick wall.
It didn't make me feel stupid.
No, because you're smarter than me. But I mean, there was a lot of very wordy stuff here, and I think it's probably just it's been a while since I've read anything from this era.
I want to read more of it.
So maybe we need to read some more Poe. I know that there are definitely some very good ones. What would you give it out of 5?
Oh, I'd give him 5 out of 5.
Always give it 5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a solid 2 out of 5. It needs to do more for me. How many spooks would you give it out of? I'm going to say spooks out of 5 as well.
No, I'm going to say 3.
3 spooks out of 5, yeah.
3 because it's like not like boo.
It's not
scary,
scary, no.
But it's like eerie scary.
Yes, definitely eerie scary. Yeah, I think we'll give it. I'm going to give it 2.5 spooks. It gets more spooks than it does for. Did I enjoy the story?
I mean, I enjoyed it because like even when the bits where you say it's like meh.
Yeah.
I think that's still pretty interesting.
That's fair. Well, we've got a holiday now, so we may release an episode on Halloween this year. So we may do something else that's spooky. It might be a Poe story. It might be something else that we find. But we will.
Oh, maybe Tim Burton.
Oh, something Tim Burton related. But we will have a look, and we will see you on the 31st of October for our Halloween special. Thank you very much.
Literature.